RPGs don't always need epic battles or world-ending threats. Some of the best let you slow down, explore, and enjoy a cozy adventure at your own pace. In this list, we'll dive into 12 relaxing RPGs that feel more like comfort food, calm, charming, and perfect to unwind with. Every once in a while, an indie game comes along with a simple idea that just works. Moonlighter is a perfect example. At night, you're a dungeon crawler, venturing into dangerous places to fight monsters and gather loot. By day, you're a shopkeeper, arranging items on shelves, setting prices, and interacting with customers. It's this balance between action and calm management that gives the game its unique charm. The dungeon runs are straightforward but satisfying. You explore, fight, grab whatever treasures you can carry, and make choices about what to keep and what to leave behind. There's always risk in pushing a little deeper, but it never feels punishing. Instead, it's a loop that invites you back again and again. Then there's the shop. Selling your hard-earned items isn't just a side feature, it's half the experience. Deciding how much to charge, watching customers react, and slowly upgrading your store feels surprisingly rewarding. It turns the downtime into something engaging, not just a pause between battles. What makes Moonlighter work so well is how natural the cycle feels. You dive into the dungeon for excitement, then return to the village for a slower pace. Neither side overwhelms the other, and together they create a rhythm that keeps you hooked without stress. Add to that the charming pixel art and upbeat soundtrack, and you've got a game that feels both cozy and adventurous. Moonlighter proves that an RPG doesn't need to be huge to be memorable. Sometimes combining two small but well-crafted experiences is enough to create something special. Every list like this needs at least one true classic, and for me, Breath of Fire 3 is that game. Out of all the titles here, this one holds a special place. It's my favorite of the bunch. There's something timeless about it, the kind of RPG that doesn't rely on flashy tricks to stand out. It's built on solid storytelling, a warm sense of adventure, and a rhythm that makes every step feel rewarding. The journey follows Ryu, a boy with the power of dragons, but what makes the game so special isn't just the plot, it's the way it unfolds. You start small, exploring quiet villages and humble places, and little by little the world expands around you. The pacing never feels rushed. Instead, it gives you time to breathe, to talk to NPCs, and to enjoy the small moments that make the adventure feel alive. Combat uses classic turn-based mechanics, and while simple by today's standards, it's exactly that simplicity that makes it relaxing. You know what to expect, you can take your time, and you're never overwhelmed with unnecessary systems. The Master System, where characters learn new abilities from mentors, adds depth without overcomplicating things. The colorful 2D visuals, paired with one of the most memorable soundtracks of its era, complete the atmosphere. Even today, sitting down with Breath of Fire 3 feels like revisiting an old friend, familiar, reliable, and always enjoyable. That's why from this entire list, it's the one I cherish most. It proves that sometimes the most relaxing RPGs are also the ones that never lose their magic. Not every RPG needs bright colors or a cheerful mood to feel calming. I Am Setsuna takes the opposite approach, wrapping the entire adventure in snow, silence, and a bittersweet tone that slows everything down. From the very first steps through frozen forests and quiet villages, you notice how the world feels almost hushed, as if it's asking you to play at a gentler rhythm. The game uses a traditional turn-based system inspired by classics like Chrono Trigger. Battles move with a steady rhythm, simple to understand, but still engaging. They're never too demanding, so you can focus more on enjoying the flow than worrying about perfect strategy. That balance makes it approachable, the kind of RPG you can sit with for hours without feeling stressed. What truly defines the experience is the setting. Endless snowfall covers towns, forests, and mountains, giving everything a hushed, reflective tone. The soundtrack, built almost entirely on solo piano, fits perfectly with this world. It doesn't overwhelm you. It guides you into a slower pace, where even small moments feel significant. And while the story carries a sense of sorrow, it's never crushing. It's more like a bittersweet journey, one that invites you to think and feel rather than rush to the end. That's why playing I Am Setsuna can be strangely comforting. It proves that relaxation in RPGs doesn't always come from bright colors or playful farming, but sometimes from quiet snow, soft music, and a story told at its own gentle pace. Few games capture the idea of relaxation as perfectly as Stardew Valley. What starts as a simple story about inheriting a rundown farm quickly becomes a cozy routine that feels endlessly rewarding. There's no pressure to finish anything quickly. The beauty is in taking each day at your own pace. Planting crops, watering fields, and watching the seasons change is at the heart of the experience. Each activity is straightforward, but they add up to a satisfying rhythm that keeps you coming back. The farming never feels like a chore because it's tied to the gentle flow of time. Spring blossoms give way to summer fruits, autumn leaves scatter across your land, and winter slows everything down for a quieter pace. Beyond farming, there's always something small to enjoy. Fishing by the river, exploring mines, or tending animals adds variety without breaking the calm atmosphere. The social side is equally important. Talking to villagers, attending festivals, and even choosing someone to marry turns the game into more than just a farm sim. It becomes about connection, about being part of a community that slowly grows familiar. What makes Stardew Valley so special is its balance between freedom and simplicity. There are goals if you want them, but nothing forces you to play in a certain way. You can spend an entire day fishing or ignore farming to focus on relationships, and it all still feels right. Paired with its charming pixel art and soothing soundtrack, the game transforms everyday tasks into a source of comfort. It's not just relaxing. It's the kind of RPG that reminds you how peaceful games can be when they let you shape your own story without stress. The best thing about Rune Factory is how it never asks you to rush. From the very first moments, it feels more like settling into a routine than stepping into a high-stakes adventure. You wake up, decide whether to spend your day on the farm, in the village, or exploring the wild, and no choice feels wrong. That freedom makes every play session feel relaxed and personal. Farming is at the core, but it's not just busy work. Planting seeds, watering your fields, and watching your crops grow carries a simple satisfaction. Taking care of animals adds another layer, giving you that cozy rhythm of tending to life on your land. And when you're ready for something more adventurous, dungeons are always waiting, filled with enemies to fight and materials to collect. The balance between peaceful farming and light action keeps the experience fresh. What really elevates the game is the social side. Talking to villagers, forming friendships, and even choosing someone to build a relationship with gives the world warmth and charm. Each character feels like part of a small community, and slowly becoming closer to them is as rewarding as leveling up your weapons or skills. The beauty of Guardians of Azuma is how it blends these pieces together without ever feeling overwhelming. Whether you're harvesting vegetables, cooking, or clearing out a dungeon, the pace stays steady and relaxing. It's an RPG that doesn't demand your time, but makes you want to keep coming back, day after day. Some games feel like they were built to be discovered slowly, and Eastward is exactly that kind of experience. From the very first minutes, it sets a tone that feels like flipping through the pages of a graphic novel. Colorful, quirky, and quietly mysterious. It doesn't overwhelm you with menus or mechanics. Instead, it invites you to take your time and wander through its pixel art world. You follow John and Sam, an unlikely pair traveling across a post-apocalyptic landscape, but the game never treats the setting as bleak. Instead, it focuses on small, human moments. Cooking meals together, chatting with villagers, or just enjoying the little details tucked into every environment. The pacing is steady, almost episodic, letting each stop along the way feel meaningful. Combat is present, but never the focus. John swings his frying pan, Sam uses her psychic powers, and together they create a system that feels light and approachable. Battles add variety, but they don't take away from the atmosphere the game is trying to build. Exploration and story always remain at the center. The biggest strength of Eastward lies in its presentation. The art is detailed and full of personality, each area alive with color and charm. The soundtrack matches perfectly, shifting between mellow tunes and playful melodies that make even ordinary moments memorable. Rather than pushing you toward a single goal, Eastward invites you to enjoy the trip itself. It's not about how fast you get to the end, it's about the little stories and quiet discoveries along the way. The kind of journey that lingers long after you put the controller down. One thing that stands out immediately in Dragon Quest XI is how it manages to feel both old and new at the same time. That's something I've always admired about this entry. It respects the roots of the franchise. Turn-based battles, colorful characters, a lighthearted sense of adventure, but wraps it all in a presentation that feels polished and timeless. It's proof that sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel to deliver an amazing RPG. Exploration is a big part of its charm. The towns are bustling with life, fields stretch out into rolling hills, and every corner of the map feels like it has something worth discovering. There's no rush to finish quests. You can spend as much time as you like simply wandering, talking to NPCs, or taking in the scenery. It creates an easy rhythm that makes the game enjoyable, whether you're playing for 20 minutes or several hours at a time. The battle system keeps that same steady pace. It's turn-based in the classic sense, with clear commands and straightforward mechanics, but there's just enough flexibility in abilities and party combos to keep things interesting. You never feel lost, but you also never feel like you're just pressing the same button over and over. What ties it together is the atmosphere, the bright visuals, Toriyama's art style, and the cheerful soundtrack give the adventure a tone that's both epic and inviting. It's a story about destiny and courage, but it never weighs you down. That balance between nostalgia and modern comfort is exactly what makes Dragon Quest XI such a remarkable experience. Atelier Ryza is one of those RPGs that knows how to take things at the right pace. It doesn't push you into endless grinding or dramatic urgency. Instead, it gives you the freedom to enjoy its world however you like. That's what makes it so easy to sink into when you just want something calm but still engaging. The kind of game you can pick up for an hour or two and always feel like you've done something meaningful. The core of the experience is alchemy. You're constantly gathering ingredients, herbs from the fields, stones from caves, odd plants in quiet corners, and then heading back to your workshop to see what you can create. The system has enough depth to keep you experimenting, but it's approachable enough that it never overwhelms you. There's something rewarding about watching a bag of random items slowly turn into potions, weapons, or useful tools. It feels steady and relaxing, like a loop you can fall into without even realizing the time passing. Exploration carries the same energy. The maps aren't oversized or stuffed with filler. Instead, they're colorful and compact, always giving you a reason to poke around just a little longer. Combat blends turn-based structure with real-time actions, so battles feel lively without being punishing. You're involved, but never under pressure, which helps keep the overall mood consistent. What makes Ryza stand out is how comfortable it is to spend time in its world. The bright visuals, the laid-back soundtrack, and the tone of the story all work together to create an atmosphere that's inviting without ever being heavy. It's an adventure that doesn't demand too much, yet still feels satisfying. Proof that an RPG doesn't need intensity to leave a lasting impression. At first glance, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 seems like a game built only for epic quests and long battles. It's big, layered with mechanics, and full of dramatic cutscenes. But spend a little time simply exploring, and a different side of the game reveals itself. The vast open environments stretch endlessly, almost begging you to slow down and just take it all in. Roaming through these landscapes is where the magic lies. Every area feels like its own world, filled with creatures to spot, secrets tucked away, and stunning views waiting around each corner. There's no urgency to move quickly. The game rewards you just for wandering, letting curiosity guide your steps rather than objectives on a checklist. The combat system looks complicated at first, but once it clicks, it flows in a steady rhythm. Attacks and abilities stack naturally, turning encounters into a sequence that feels smooth rather than stressful. Even boss fights, while challenging, carry a sense of momentum that keeps you engaged without wearing you out. Music plays a big role too. The soundtrack, composed by Yasunori Mitsuda and others, adds layers of calm to even the most imposing landscapes. Whether you're crossing the grassy fields of Gormat or gliding across Urea's shimmering seas, the music transforms the journey into something almost meditative. That's why Xenoblade Chronicles 2 stands out. Beneath its epic scale and story, it offers moments of quiet discovery where the world itself is enough to make you pause and enjoy the view. The first time I saw Ni no Kuni, I didn't even think about stats, battles, or mechanics. What grabbed me right away was how it looked. It's one of those games where the art style does half the talking. Studio Ghibli's influence is everywhere, from the way towns glow with personality to how the creatures feel like they've walked out of a movie. It's the kind of presentation that makes you want to just sit back and take it in. The story follows Oliver, a boy who sets out on a journey to save his mother. And while it carries emotional weight, it never feels heavy-handed. Instead, it balances heartfelt moments with a sense of discovery and wonder. Along the way, you recruit familiars, train them, and use them in battle, almost like a softer take on monster collecting. The system is approachable, easy to learn, and flows at a pace that fits the overall calm tone of the game. Exploration is equally rewarding. You can take your time wandering across fields, completing side quests, or simply enjoying the views. The soundtrack by Joe Hisaishi, known for his work on Ghibli films, ties it all together with themes that are both uplifting and soothing. It's hard not to feel immersed when music and visuals work in harmony like this. What makes Ni no Kuni stand out is how consistent it is at making you feel comfortable in its world. Even during its tougher moments, the gentle presentation keeps everything approachable. And I have to say, this is one of those RPGs that I personally admire a lot. It feels like stepping into a living storybook, and it's an experience I'll never forget. Some RPGs take dozens of hours to show their best side, but Moon Hunters takes the opposite approach. It's designed to be played in short runs, each one lasting only a couple of hours, yet every playthrough feels unique. The game calls itself a personality test RPG, and that description couldn't be more fitting. Instead of piling on complex systems, it focuses on the choices you make and how those choices shape the story of your character and your tribe. You begin with a simple goal: prepare for the arrival of the moon. But the journey there is what matters most. Each region you travel through offers new encounters, from helping villagers to facing mystical creatures. The mechanics are light, with combat that's easy to learn and quick to resolve, making it more about the journey than the challenge. Every run ends with your story being told as a legend, carved into the stars, giving even small decisions a sense of weight. Visually, Moon Hunters leans on charming pixel art with rich colors that set the mood for each environment, from deserts to forests to ruined temples. The soundtrack blends with that style, calm and atmospheric, keeping the tone grounded and immersive. What makes it especially appealing is how unhurried it feels. You can replay it as many times as you want, experiment with different characters, and see how new paths open up. Each session is short and satisfying, never overwhelming, which makes it perfect when you just want an RPG that's easy to pick up and enjoy. There aren't many RPGs quite like Eternal Sonata. Originally released on the Xbox 360 in 2007 and later expanded for the PS3 in 2008. It blended history, fantasy, and music in a way no other RPG dared. The PS3 version even added new playable characters and extra story events, making it the most complete edition. From the start, the game stands out with its painterly visuals, a soundtrack built around Chopin's music, and a narrative that mixes imagination with real history. The tone of the adventure is lighter than you'd expect from such a premise. Towns are full of charm, characters have warm personalities, and exploration moves at an easy pace. You're never pressured to rush. Instead, the game invites you to appreciate the scenery, the artistic direction, and its musical core. Even menus and transitions feel theatrical, as if you're watching a stage performance unfold. Combat blends turn-based mechanics with real-time movement, allowing you to position characters and chain abilities together. It might look complex at first, but the system quickly settles into a rhythm that feels smooth, almost like playing along with a piece of music. Rather than stressing over precision, you can enjoy experimenting and watching the fluid animations bring each battle to life. What makes Eternal Sonata so memorable is the mood it creates. Bright colors, thoughtful themes, and the seamless use of music give it an uplifting quality, even when the story touches on heavier moments. For players looking for a relaxing yet artistic RPG, it remains one of the most unique gems of the PS3 and Xbox 360 generation. And that wraps up our list of 12 relaxing RPGs, from timeless classics to indie gems. Each one offers a different way to slow down, unwind, and enjoy the journey without pressure. I wanted this video to bring a different kind of roundup, and I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and share in the comments which RPG gives you the most comfort.